Welcome to the KMS Spotlight Leaders podcast, where we discuss all things knowledge management.
This week joining us is Zvi Baida, the Chief E-Commerce of Shufersal, Israel's largest retail group.
Hi Zvi.
Hi.
We're really excited to have you here
Thank you for having me.
on one of our episodes of the KMS Lighthouse podcast. Tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience knows who you are.
So, hi, nice to meet all of you guys. It's a pleasure to be here. It's Zvi Baida. I'm 41 years old. I'm married to Maya. I have three young children. Gili is 6 years old, Dan is 4 years old, and Yali is 2 years old. So I'm a full-time job
Full-time dad.
And I also a very, very full-time now chief e-commerce officer of Shufersal, just recently appointed.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 2 weeks ago, after a pretty significant change management process that we do in Shufersal of creating the new structure that should support the trend of the expanding e-commerce channel and focus on it as an independent, almost totally independent unit, although it is connected to the big corporation and to the big
brick and mortar stores,
right,
too.
because most of our picking and our logistics are still based on the corporate logistics, but the notion is to create an independent unit that will see the e-commerce, will understand the new world trends, the new customer, the new consumer, and to build the right strategy around it. My background is 9 years in Shufersal, which is a lot, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I started 9 years ago as a executive assistant to the CEO for 4 years, and then I became the first chief customer officer in Shufersal. I was in charge for more than 4 years on the customer side. Customer experience, customer service, all the stakeholders, relationship, how to create the right language with the customer in a big transformation that the company went through those days. And now my next step is how to harness customer service and customer experience and customer focus into maybe the most important part of our strategy, which is the online, that now holds approximately 20% of the total turnover.
Which I'm sure was a massive change that you saw in the past 2 years or however long it's been since the pandemic.
Right. So actually, Shufersal was a market leader in the e-commerce market in Israel for many years, especially in the last 5-6 years. But COVID-19 obviously had a major influence on the e-commerce business. It jumped from approximately 15% of our total revenues into 20%, which in numbers is in 2020 around 3 billion shekel, which is a very
nice amount of money.
big business, major challenges. First of all, of acquisition. I mean, how to acquire another customer and to keep the C-level in the right place. Retention, how to maintain the customers with us. Conversion, how to create from every customer every session in our site or mobile application to create another basket or another item. So it's always pretty simple, either how to bring more customers or how to enlarge the basket, how to create some more business with the existing customers. And in the end, it's all about service, because I'm a service person, and I always believe that of course price is very significant factor in retail. I mean, especially in the basic retail, in food retail, price is always an important factor, but it's I think that especially in the e-commerce business, it's never alone. I mean, you cannot win only with the price. You should always take into account that experience is the most important thing in the online, unlike in physical experience, which is, in real estate they say location, location, location. So I think that in e-commerce it's experience, and that's my whole responsibility.
Very interesting.
In a nutshell.
So I guess before we dive into the questions around knowledge management and customer experience, we would like to get to know you better. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What was your favorite subject at school, if you recall?
So I was trying to recall, and I actually don't remember a specific subjects that I really liked. Actually, it's interesting. I thought that I liked physics, but almost failing in the final exams, I understood that maybe I only wanted to be in the physics class because my friends went there, and that was a good lesson in life, that you should really focus on your strengths and not just do things because of other people's opinion or other external reasons that are not the real reasons. So I thought that physics and mathematics are my strengths, but they are not, apparently. By the way, after the military service, I went to law school, and I was focusing on a totally different world, the more language world, more content. I became a lawyer. Although I didn't work as a lawyer for many years, but I definitely found myself in a later stage, not in the place where I thought I'm going to go when I was in high school. So then I thought that physics is the one, but now I know that it's not.
How did you shift from the world of law to Shufersal?
Very interesting story. After my internship in one of the big firms in Israel, law firms in Israel, I understood that I'm not gonna continue as a regular law firm associate, and I looked for something and I didn't know what to do. It was around 2008 when the big crisis started to take place, and I was talking to someone and asked her, a very senior manager in the market, that I had some family relations with her, and I asked her, I'm a lawyer, I want to do business. I mean, how can I get to the business world these days? She said, we're in a very bad time, so the only thing you can do now is learn. So go to one of the authorities, either the Securities and Exchange Commission or the Antitrust Authority or something like that. Be there for a few years, learn the market, and then when the recession will end, you can maybe start, you can find an opportunity. And actually, that's exactly what I did. I looked for a job in one of these authorities. I went to the Israeli Securities Authority, was an investigator for 3 years, a bit more than 3 years. It was a very, very interesting role because, it was during the post-crisis time. So many companies were in trouble, and there were many interesting things that happening those days that I was involved in a pretty young age, 28, something like that. And what I understood those days was that I want to be in the yes business, not in the no business. So I want to be in the business side where you do things, and not when you just supervise things or audit or regulate things. And after 3 years, I looked for a change, and a friend of mine from college, from law school, she's apparently her father was just appointed those days in the beginning of 2012. To be the CEO of Shufersal. He was looking for an executive assistant. She hooked us up. She made the connection, and ever since I'm there.
Nice.
So I didn't have plans to become a retail executive, but that's what happened.
Nice story.
Yeah.
Who are one of your role models, real or fake?
So, I don't have one role model. I think that you pick up many examples and many inspirations during your journey. One role model that I really like and want to mention is a book that I read maybe 7-8 years ago of Tony Hsieh, the founder of Zappos. By the way, he passed away less than a year ago in a very tragic incident. But he was, I think, one of the lighthouses of customer service. And he had a lot of inspiration on me because I really understood the notion of, he said he was maybe the biggest website or the e-commerce platform for shoes.
One of the first.
One of the first. It was acquired by Amazon for more than $1 billion, maybe 12 years ago. And his whole theory, his whole philosophy was around service. He used to say, I'm a customer service company that accidentally sells shoes. And I think that it's an amazing saying. It's something that is unreal. You are the best seller of shoes, and you say that you don't care about shoes. You just care about service. And many people, many companies talk a lot about customer service, customer experience, but in the end, as a consumer, you don't really feel it. You're in touch and you have some relationship with many brands, but it's not common that you feel that someone is really caring about you. Not talking anecdotally. I'm not talking about a good experience that you just accidentally had. I'm talking about something that is consistent, something that happens as a system, that you see that the architect of this system just design it accordingly, so you'll feel it. And that's what happened there, and he created an amazing philosophy that he's talking about in this book, that he's talking about the culture, about happy employees, about how to they call it how to deliver wow through service. And I think that that's one of my big inspirations. And also others that, of course, everyone that is in my business is looking at Amazon, Jeff Bezos with all of their perception. By the way, I don't think that you have to take everything from any role model. You have to take the things
the pieces that you connect to.
Exactly, and things that because also when you say radically focus on the customer, sometimes you sacrifice other things like employee experience, like how to treat the public, how to treat the universe. It's always sometimes a contradiction between different interests, and so you don't have to to become obsessed about only one thing that you read somewhere or you saw somewhere, but getting some ideas, getting some inspiration is very helpful and very valuable. You don't have to invent everything from zero most of the time.
Okay, I like that answer. Which 3 words would you use to describe yourself?
I'll say 3 words that I want to describe myself. I'm not sure that they really describe me, but I'll try to. So first of all is accountability. I think that being accountable makes your life much easier, because when you don't depend on other external things or other people's help or it sounds bad, by the way, like you're alone in the world. No,
but you know that you're like the main pillar that
you take the responsibility for things that happen in your life, and you don't expect anything from anyone else, and then the controls comes to you. As a manager, if an employee of yours is leaving you, the natural thing is to be angry at them. I invested so much in you and you're leaving. And that's what I used to be in the past, by the way. I remember an employee, my customer service, the call center manager, that for a whole year I was so, I felt so connected to her, and I invested so many hours with her. And then she just quit. She got a good offer, and I was so mad. I didn't talk to her for a long time. And just recently, in the last year, I started thinking about it. I said, man, it's your fault. If she's leaving, it's my fault. It doesn't necessarily mean that I could have done things differently. But still, when you take the responsibility, you suddenly starting to feel more released, because you can control it and you don't blame others. Mm-hmm. So that's one thing. It's also connected to the next point, which is what I'm trying to do is giving. That's why I prefer always to be in the service side and not in the purchasing side, for example. Because when you give service, you first of all give. And when a business thinks how to give instead of just how to take, and you think about what you give and not what is your profit, it creates value. And in the end, we're here to create value. And also it's a karma thing, when you are in this giving side, it's much better than in the taking side. And too many businesses are focused on what I get from it.
What's in it for them?
How do I earn money? How do I make a profit? And in the end, all of us are selfish in a way. I mean, a business wants to make money and to create good ROIs, etc. But in order to be there, that's the end result. But how do you get there? How do you create this bottom line? Is through what you give. And that's also related, as I said, to the service and to my whole passion, which is the next point, passion, or being your strengths. It's related to what I said about my major or what the subject that I liked in school. When you're not in your passion, when you're not in your strengths, when you're doing things to impress your wife or your father or your friends or yourself, even if you don't really there, it's really easy to see it. I mean, it's not something that you can hide. It's not something that you can fake. So I think that being accountable, give, and be in your strengths, that's the things that I try to be there. I'm not saying that I'm always there, but I'm trying to be there.
So now I want to shift over to some questions that relate to the world that KMS Lighthouse is part of, knowledge management. Yeah. You are Shufersal as a happy Lighthouse customer.
Right.
What is knowledge management all about, from your eyes, and what does it mean to you on a personal level?
So first of all, when we talk about customer experience, we have to always connect it with the employee experience. If the employee doesn't have a smooth, seamless, frictionless experience, in the end, the customer, our end customer, our B2C customer won't be happy. If every interaction with an agent is a nightmare because they don't have the answers and they have to ask a senior agent or the manager, etc., it becomes, first of all, it costs more money, but that's not the first concern. The most important thing is that everything will be smooth, everything will be seamless, everything will be easy, and that's, I think, and everything will be, as much as we can, systematic. So things are not dependent of the goodwill or in the intelligence of each agent, but on something that we can standardize. But there is some oxymoron. I mean, we want, on one hand, to create to unite the whole customer service agents around the same thing. But on the other hand, we don't want to design them in one way. We want them to be themselves. So we want them, on one hand, to have this knowledge management and other tools that they can provide service in a way that we would like them to do. But on the other hand, we want them to have their opinion or their consideration and to bring themselves to the job and not to be just because whenever I can do things that are just one way, I can do it with a bot or with things that are automation tools. And so knowledge management is an important tool, but it's not the whole picture. The whole picture is some mix, some combination between the standardization that we want to do on one hand, and on the other hand, the human side that each and every one of them should bring to the table.
Okay. What are the most important attributes of successfully engaging users? So from your end, the call center agents, to a KM solution?
So I think that in the end, it's all about good content. If you have good content, you create trust of the user in the system, and they will use it more and more. If I will just impose on them and force them to do it, and they won't find any value in this system, if they'll be disciplined, they'll do it, but they won't do it because of a goodwill or because of the right reasons. It's just like CRM system. CRM is there not only because we want them to document it. I want them to see it as a tool that will make their life much easier. So that's the thing. If the content will be good, if when they type a word, all of the all of the content units or whatever they need to take out of this system will come out easily, and the SEO system will work smoothly. That's the key for success for a successful interaction with this system. So it's all about good content and access to the content.
Okay. So what would be, you told me about your experience so far, 9 years at Shufersal, living the world of the customer experience and digital. What would be your tips for someone who's looking to break into the digital space with any overlap on knowledge management too?
So it's not only digital space or knowledge management. I think that a generic tip that I can give to everyone that in our business world or the thing that we do is to be more in the listening side and less in the talking side, which means that in the end, as I see my job, first of we're very busy. We're all very, very busy. We have a lot of routine, the routine life and meetings and all of our tasks that we have to do. So sometimes we lose the macro thing that we have to do, and the macro thing that we have to do is first of all to listen to customers, to listen to consumers, to see what's happening, to be more relevant. I don't know. Things could always change, and maybe a social network that is now very, very important, like TikTok, may not be existing in 5 or 10 years, but now your new generation consumers are in TikTok, so be there. Don't say that no, it's something that just for teenagers and it will. I mean, try to listen and not to dictate anything. And when in the end, that's marketing. Marketing is listening and seeing how to match the right solution to what you see or what you hear. And that's in the end, I think the best tip that I can get. By the way, in my mobile phone, I have all of the TikToks of the world. I have on them Clubhouse, whatever you want. I have, not because I'm dancing and always recording myself and uploading it, but I try to be as much close to the end consumer as I can. First of all, to understand what's happening. That's a very, very important thing. That's also why I try to engage with some content creation, because I try to meet people. Here I'm on the other side, but as you know, I also practice some kind of podcast and other things, because I believe that in the end, you have not only to be you have to be in the trenches, and you have to be, one hand in the dirty job, in the dirty work, and you also have to be in a way in the ivory tower. So you have to mix between. You can't be just in the micro stuff, but you can only sit in the ivory tower and be disconnected from what's happening. So it's both. You have to listen, you have to look for things, you have to understand what's going on, not to think that 2017 and 2021 are the same. Right. They're not the same. Many things have changed ever since then, and being adjustable, being dynamic, and try not to try to understand things and not try to impose or dictate things. And that's what I think many brands lose their success or their path to growth there, because they're losing the part of listening and seeing what's happening. They know all. And when you are still in the beginner's mind of, I don't know it all, I'm trying to listen to understand what's going on, and then to match the solution, the product, the service, whatever I do, to the need that I recognize, that's the thing.
I like that answer.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything about where you see the space going in the next few years?
I think that everything, people are trying to or question, not an and question, answer. I mean, people think that everything will be digital, and I totally disagree with this, with these kind of sayings, because digital is always evolving, and we're just in the tip of the iceberg. I'm sure that there is a lot of potential of all the, mobile digitalization, AI, automation. All of these buzzwords are here to stay. It's not something that is going to disappear, but also the old way of shopping, going to a brick and mortar store or whatever kind of grocery, fashion, everything else will also be here. So things are not necessarily replacing things; they are adding to existing things. And in the end, it's all about mix and to know how to control this kind of thing. So also in the customer service world, it's not that. I'm sure that the AI tools and the automation tools for like a chatbot and other tools that we see in the last few years will evolve. You'll see them more and more. But you think if I think that the customer service human agent will disappear? No, I just think that they will be more relevant for the more complicated things, places where they need to have the human consideration, the human added value, and not just doing repetitive actions. So things will evolve. All the new world, all the smart world will continue to be developed, and we just saw what we're seeing in the last 10 years will just explode and keep expanding. But on the other hand, we're definitely going to see the old conservative things, because there is a need for everything. Service say that most of the consumers in Israel still prefer to talk in the telephone with an agent. I always prefer WhatsApp.
I prefer a person.
Really?
Yeah.
So you are at old school. So you see, and you're not so old. So you see, you just prefer it maybe because you feel that
the human touch, like
human
someone's
touch.
actually,
Maybe you think that you'll get a faster solution or whatever reason you have. In the end, if that's what, remember I just said, listen, don't think that because we are in 2021, everyone wants a AI, everyone wants chatbot, everyone no, some want. And by the way, Healy maybe wants to connect with Shufersal through a human agent, but when you connect with when you want an appointment in your medical services supplier, you want it in the application because they have a great appointment application. So there's no one answer. It's not an or world, it's an and world, and that's what I think we all should bear in mind.